Now I'm here with Miss Sales, school psychologist, Miss May, school psychologist, and Mrs. Vokes, school adjustment counselor. And they're just going to discuss a few different topics that we see a lot happening with girls in high school.
I'm at Shaw, and although they're much younger, I'm right around the 5th and 6th grade, I see a lot of girl drama. I called it the girl drama cyclone, where it sort of starts to spin and it sucks up everyone and then spits everyone out. And it's the fallout can be minor, and arch enemies, like you said, are best friends the next day, or the fallout can be something more significant, where you need to have someone to talk to. And then someone mentioned anxiety.
Yeah. Well, and even with the interpersonal issues, those often carry through on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And all those other, and it can be really damaging to a lot of people, because even that can be printed out and brought into school, and I mean, there's a lot of things that come with that. And then also, yes, the anxiety that I often see, and I think that's very common for girls, actually junior high through high school age, kind of trying to figure out who they are and where they belong, and all these other pressures that come along with school, and then changing
and growing up.
Yeah.
Right, how to look, and they're seeing things on TV or in magazines how they should look, comparing themselves to other classmates, and that's definitely something that I think we've all seen, just that self-image, the self-esteem. It kind of goes up and down as they're going through adolescence. So we'd love to talk about some strategies for some of these girls. First, one of our biggest things is self-talk. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's one of the healthiest things to do, and it's easy, and it's free. And you're just, learning to talk to yourself, and, saying, I like this about myself, or I'm good at this thing, and this makes me feel good about myself, and just kind of noticing the positive things in your life and not focusing on all the negative. Sometimes it's so easy to focus on negative that we forget what good things happen that day. So that's always just a really good habit, is to, at home at night, or, what good thing happened today? What's something that I can be appreciative for?
So what do I like about myself? What can I do? What do I do well? Noticing those things. I think everyone has self-talk. There are things that you think to yourself all the time and you don't even realize it, and a lot of times it's negative, and you don't even realize, like, someone will drop something, and I've heard people mumble, oh, I'm such an idiot. Those kinds of things. To stop yourself and say, no, sometimes people are clumsy. Right? It's okay. I'm not an idiot, Actually, I'm really good. I'm really smart at this, or whatever.
The thing is to not make other people's reality your own. Whatever they think of you, to then take it on yourself and try and not fight that image. There's a saying that to be yourself is the hardest battle that you will ever have to fight, and it's very true. I think it's E.E. Cummings that said that. It's very, very true, but it's worth the battle, because when you feel good about yourself, it shows in everything you do. It shows in the way you present yourself, in the work that you do, and how you interact with others. We are naturally drawn to people who are confident and who like themselves. It's kind of one of those things that you don't realize you're sort of glowing. So if you talk about yourself positively, you can't help but feel it, and it's something that if you build up the habit of doing it, it's a really, really good thing to do.
Increasing, what you feel good about, do more of. What you don't, you need to work on getting that out of your life.
Yeah. But also try new things too. Don't be afraid. If it piques your interest, give it a try, and if you really like it, yay. If you don't, okay, moving on to the next thing.
Yeah, I think sometimes people are afraid to even try. So, if you don't try, you never know. And some people, I've often seen too that young people, well, if I can't be the best at it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you get to do it for a while, and then maybe you will be the best at it.
You don't know what you're going to get
Yeah,
out of it. I mean,
exactly
you may
so.
make a good friend out of joining the soccer team. Even if you're not that great, you don't play that often, but you may have made a connection that you wouldn't have expected. So another big issue that girls and boys deal with as they're going through adolescence is, you know, how to be a good friend, what to expect from friendships. You know, we're human. We're going to make mistakes, and we as adults make mistakes in friendships, and but it's the skills on being able to acknowledge and, you know, apologize when you feel like you've hurt someone, or, you know, at least trying to take somebody else's perspective. I think that's important in a friendship in general.
Yeah, well, and also knowing that not everybody's a friend like you would be a friend. So I think that's the hardest thing to learn, that, you know, well, I would have done it this way, and, you know, and someone else, they come from a different place. So it is really important to kind of try and put yourself into somebody else's shoes and not take everything so personal, like an attack. I think sometimes girls and boys, they don't even realize they've insulted someone or they've done something to hurt someone or in a friendship, and it's tough to go up and try and work that out, I know, but there's nothing wrong with saying, you know, I feel this way. I think sticking with I statements when you're having a conflict with someone or disagreement, you know, I feel this way, and if you really feel like you can't work that out, then maybe that's not the friendship for you. You know, if there's constantly issues within that friendship.
To sort of feed off of that, being around healthy relationships make you feel good about yourself. So if you're in a relationship with a friend or someone else who is not making you feel good, puts you down all the time, that right there is, you know, something that you want to really reevaluate and decide, is this worth how I'm feeling? If I'm constantly being put down, or if I feel uncomfortable, or my needs in this friendship are not being met, then evaluate it, figure it out, have that conversation, and say, you know, this is what I feel, do you mean it this way, and be open and honest, which is hard.
Not always easy.
Yeah,
Not always
It's
easy.
not
And,
always easy.
and seek out an adult, someone that you can trust and that you have a relationship, maybe for some advice to, you know, and how to handle it. Obviously, if it's in school, you know, seek out a counselor or psychologist.
Alright. So going off making, you know, building good friendships is also, you know, how do we support our friends when they're going through hard times? Everybody goes through difficult times, whether it's something at home or something with a relative or a friend.
Sometimes it's just listening, and maybe, you know, if they're open to talking about the good things, the things that they remember, or coming up with a collage. I mean, those are different things that I've done with young people who have had some loss, you know. But there's different stages, and people are, you know, some people are really willing to kind of let it all out, and some people, they just kind of, you know, they internalize it, and they don't really express themselves as much. So sometimes as a friend, I think it can be really frustrating to try and support someone who's, you're not quite sure, you know.
Yeah, and it's good to try to cheer up your friend and do things that kind of help them, like you said, do fun things and look at pictures, or even just getting their mind off of it and doing other things to make them happy. But honestly, sometimes the best thing to do is listen. And I know that sounds so simple, but sometimes, even speaking of my own experiences, when I'm upset and I have a friend who I know is trying to comfort me by saying, oh, I've been there, I know how you feel, and they start talking about, then sometimes I'm just like, I just want someone to listen. And sometimes that's the best thing in the world, is just to unload, and for them not to say a word and just sit there and like hug me or listen is like the easiest thing sometimes.
It is hard. It
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
easiest thing,
yeah.
but it's hard because you want to
Right.
help your friend and you
Right,
want to
of
fix
course.
whatever's
Right,
wrong.
right.
So you're sort of like, I feel your pain, and you
Right.
want to empathize. But to go off of when you begin to really feel a sense of helplessness, that might be a good time to talk. Say, you know what, I think we should really talk about this with someone.
Especially if
because-
they're making certain comments.
Exactly. Most of us usually have a very good feeling about our friends, and when they're really, really down, or when you know they're going to be able to bounce back. If your friend is really sad or really upset about something and they've not bounced back in the normal time, you start to feel a little bit of alarm. That's
Go
when
with
you
your
should
gut feeling,
go with your gut and
absolutely.
talk to someone about that.
Right.
But yes, listening.
When you start getting that gut feeling, like, you know, they're saying things like, I don't want to live anymore, and so certain comments that you're like, you know what, I can't handle, I don't know what to do, and it's okay to talk to a teacher that you trust, or a counselor, or a psychologist, or a parent, and you know, and don't feel like you're tattling on them. It's you're getting them help, honestly, if it gets to that kind of point. So don't ever be afraid to look at it as, I'm helping them, even though they might get mad, but you're helping in the end. So yeah.
And definitely, I know we brushed by it again, but
Yeah.
there are certain agencies
Yes.
that you can go to within the school. Definitely come to someone in school. If it's someone in school, they'll know who to direct your friend to or direct you to. Whenever you feel like your friend is in physical harm, either from themselves or somebody else, talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Always talk to somebody, because to get ahead of it is much better than to have that, you know, hindsight of, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I
don't
could've
keep it
done
all on
something.
your own shoulders.
Yeah.
Give it to somebody else who can take it off of you and help you out. That, you know, it has the training to do it. And
Obviously, there's a lot of, I mean, becoming involved too. If you're involved in a group or an activity, like we talked earlier about self-esteem, but also the more involved you are, the more adults that you get to know, and the more, you know, supports, then you feel more comfortable perhaps going to seek some support in the school. So I would say get involved too.
I think the last topic was
healthy
healthy relationships with a significant other. So, knowing the boundaries, especially at this age, what you're comfortable with, knowing what you're not comfortable with, and then being able to, you know, speak up for yourself and speak out to others if something has happened. Always talk to somebody.
I think, yeah, you have to be careful. There are warning signs. You know, if someone's asking you where you are all the time or what
Why
you're
you're looking
doing,
your phone.
telling you can't talk to certain people that you've talked to that are good friends and you know are, all these are little red flags. So if there's those little red flags, and especially if you know someone, I've run into a lot of girls who will come in and say, you know, I know so-and-so's dating this person and he's terrible and he does this and he does that and da-da-da, you know, and so then, you know, I encourage that person to talk to that person or bring them in, you know, to see me
Mhm,
at the very least. But healthy is, you know, you do things together, but that you enjoy, and, you know, no one should be pressuring anyone about sexual activity or anything like that. That's not, there's a red flag.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the young people don't like to hear this, but that, you know, physically,
You're not.
you're in emotionally, I mean, physically you're ready, but emotionally,
You're not.
really you're not. And
It's just
even
not
boys
developed.
aren't either.
Yeah.
But I think our society has made them, you know, kind of pushes, like the boys,
Feel like
it's
they're
kind
ready,
of,
right.
they're ready, but honestly, I don't think boys are really ready either.
Mm-mm.
And I think that sometimes they're looking for excuses not to also.
Right.
So how do you say no?
Right, how do you say no? Yeah, it's sticking up for yourself. It's the tip, you know, that broken record no, getting away from the situation, and if it continues, then you tell somebody immediately. And I know it happens that girls are, well, maybe I deserved it, maybe I was asking for it, maybe, and I didn't tell anybody for the first week, so what's the point of saying it now? And please don't ever think those things.
Yeah.
And if those ever come into your head, just say absolutely not, because no matter how long or how long ago, talk about it. Tell somebody, because you might be helping somebody else out if it came to that certain person, or it's going to be good for you to process it. But yeah, it's saying no and respecting yourself.
And if someone's not respecting that boundary, then perhaps they're not the person for you.
Right.
Yeah.
You are worth that. You're worth the no. You're worth the wait. You're worth the, you're getting all of me. You can slow your roll, type of a deal. You know,
Yeah.
Feel good about yourself.
Mhm.
And you know, there's always that stigma of, well, what will they say or what will they do?
Right.
There's not much you can do about that per se, other than keeping yourself safe and keeping yourself protected. So always remember that at the back of your head. You want to keep yourself safe, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, to understand who and what can hurt you.
All right.
Is that good?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.